Hello, good morning. Bit of a... No, what am I going to do? Oh, it's so early, trying to form words. Goodness me. Okay, new morning, new project. What I intend to do today, I'm going to take a bit of a break from that walk cycle just there. I need to prepare for the next one of these videos. It's pretty much all there, but I want to have a little bit more practice. Thought I might as well do it live. So if you haven't seen the deconstructing the flame brush video yet, which is this one here, go check it out. I was quite fond of it, even if you don't use TV Paint. I think it's very interesting to see just how the brushes are put together and all that sort of stuff. Today I'm going to try and do the opposite. I want to try and build some brushes. I think I have a fairly good grasp on just how the mechanics of this thing work now. So I want to see if I can't take some just regular shapes, some regular textures, and try and make some things out of it. Not sure what kind of things yet. Maybe we should try and create some real-life textures or something? I don't know. Anyway, good morning. Oh, wow, look at that. Lots of people have sort of just rocked up already. I hadn't realized. So many of you. Great. Am I starting a routine already? Only on the second day? Wonderful. I didn't know that would be a thing. However, I will say something that is a thing is... Wait. Why angry face okay symbol? I don't get it. Anyway. Oh jeez, I've lost my train of thought already. Why do I do this so early? I have not woken up yet at all. Finally a stream that is not filled with spams. What do you mean? What does that mean? I don't think I spam, do I? A friend at work came up to me yesterday saying that he was watching... he wasn't watching it live, but he's kind of had it on throughout the day while working. He said that I sounded really tired. I was like, uh-oh. Good critique, I guess. But I'm not sure how to fix that. That being the first thing I do. Oh yes, I remember what I was going to say now. It was the whole like accountability thing. Was like, oh, if I don't do this, yell at me on Twitter. It worked. Like after getting up, I was like everything in my mind was saying, don't bother with it. It's fine. Just go back to bed. All good. But then I thought, no, I promised the stream I'd be there. So here I am. You're welcome. I have so much contempt for you all now. Okay, drawing. Alright, I'll try and make some basic texture. I'm not even sure how I'm going to go about doing that. So, from what I understand, most of the custom brushes, or most all of them, are built out of this one, which is a Swiss Army knife type thing. But over here, over here, along with the rest of all of these buttons, these other brushes are, they are almost as customizable, however, they're not built upon other images. This has its foundations in, you have a piece of artwork out in the field, you crop a piece out of it, and then that becomes a thing that you can do things with. The other ones aren't so much like that. They do have slightly different options, and they are based upon a preset texture that isn't an image, if that makes sense. So this one, for example, I think is pretty cool. It looks like that. Not exactly like that. It normally looks like this. But it had a paper turned on, which made it look... that's cool. I like that. Can I turn shifting on for this pen? Or not? I guess not. Because I want to make it blendy. Oh, I'm sure you can make it blendy somehow. No, I guess you can't make it blendy. But I know I can make the grain size deeper. How do I do that? Grain soft, hard. Ooh. Okay. And now make it super, super deep. I actually feel like I'm sort of rehashing territory here. I think I've done a video where I'm sort of just experimenting with these brushes before. So apologies if it feels like I'm retreading similar ground. I just really want to get to a point that there's a fairly linear A to B. With the last one, that was pretty much what had happened. I started with that flame brush and just kept deconstructing it, drawing lines, getting it down smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go about doing the opposite. I know it's basically going to be this. Oh, look, now I've made a stamp. Now I want to do other things with it. So figuring out what sort of starting texture is going to be tricky. I suppose I could get a photo or something and drag a piece out of that, but that doesn't come with transparency. It's just different colors. Unless there is a way to turn something into a matte, that would be good. Is that possible? So that things that are white are actually invisible, or things that are black are actually invisible. Anyway. Oh, what's going on up here? Sorry, I haven't looked at the thingy thing. He's talking about chat spam. Oh, yes. No, I'm not. Was I? Hello, Onion Skin. I'm going to explain how I animate in MS Paint. Oh, yes, please. We can all do that together. Okay, basically, if you color an outline with a color, you can draw over it with a different color. Hang on. Let me try and understand. I'm feeling all fuzzy. Basically, if you color an outline with a color, you can draw over it with a different color, then get rid of the original. Oh, right. Sorry, you're talking about Onion Skin, the concept, not as in me. Sorry. It threw me because, you know, when people write that name, it highlights bright orange. So, yeah, forgive me. But that's a very clever technique. I've seen similar approaches inside of Photoshop as well. A friend of mine would always... He would do initial keyframes in TV Paint, I think, and then in between in Photoshop or something like that. He would set up Onion Skin in Photoshop, and was kind of just stubborn to wanting to learn new features and approaches. So it took probably no more than 5 minutes in TV Paint to actually find the light table and be like, hey, look, this is how you Onion Skin, and it just revolutionized his year. It was awesome. Okay, sometimes you can get student discounts. Some professors will give you discount codes. Yeah. Guys, you should team up and make some show like Rick and Morty. Do you mean like you get the Onion Skin community together and make a thing? Because I have thought about that. There'd be ways to organize it and to have it happen. But, not now. But at least we've got 3 softwares that are a bit affordable. Yes, we do. Well, my animation's pretty crappy, but yeah, I make them. Juby, have you showed me some stuff before? I can't remember. Alright, brush time. So, maybe I'll just make some fairly basic textures and then sort of build something out of that. So that's a fairly standard one, but it looks like it's got some sort of watercolor mode turned on. I think that's probably drying. No, it's not that. What's giving it that edge? It might be this. If I made that straight, it might be a bit more. Nope, okay, it's not that. It's a pressure thing. I feel like a lot of my knowledge has been undone already. Where is that switch? What does it do? How do I make it not do that? Or maybe that's what that tool does, as opposed to this one. I think it might just be like that by default, actually, yes. Okay, alright, that's enough. That's not what we're doing today. We're building custom stuff. So I need an image, I need a texture. Maybe something like this grass one would be a good way to start. How it takes samples and things. So I guess in that case, all I should need to do is draw a thing. Yes, that sounds fun. Okay, so standard that with the color. What should I do though? Suggestions, please. What kind of brush should I make? Those foliage ones are pretty good. Man, I wonder if I can make like something that just paints bricks and stacks them up automatically. Is it possible to get the spacing like that? It'd probably be better to use a paper rather than a actual stampy brush for such a thing. Let's try both. Just for argument's sake, let's try both, just for fun, because it's the first example that comes to my mind. But if you think of a better one, maybe I'll just drop whatever I'm doing and do that instead, because I don't care. Okay. So with this thing, I'm just gonna get like a bricky texture here and just draw a little dumb rectangle. Oh, look at that! There's a brick for sure. Why not? Paint bucket tool, set source to this current layer. There we go. But I can also give it some other fun textures as well. So maybe I'll just give it a little corner shine. Yay! Why not? Okay. Why does it have that? Should be shadowy on the other side, shouldn't it? That's how light works, I think. I could be wrong. Learn new stuff all the time. Learning about color as part of tone was one of the most fascinating lessons I'd ever had, because up until then I was thinking, oh, this thing's red, therefore its shadow should be darker red. And then an old friend was saying, well, what if it was blue? Like, what if the shadow of this orange thing was purple? And I was like, what? Such a thing does not make sense. And then they did it, and it looked amazing. And then I was like, okay, I think I understand why you have such a good grasp on just the sense of how colors work, because my head just does not work like that. And it was one of the truest senses of pure talent that I've ever seen, where, you know, you just sort of get things. I'd always thought, I like to think that there is sort of two ways to learn things. That, like, you know, skill and talent are very real. One is simply that you got a bit of a leg, like if you're talented at something, quote unquote, you sort of just got a little bit of a leg up. It doesn't mean you're amazing at it, but it means you haven't necessarily had to try quite as hard in order to be half decent. Whereas to be skilled at something means you have absolutely no talent, and in order to get good at it, you had to just fight tooth and claw to do anything. So I guess you'd say I don't think I'm talented at animation at all. Everything was very, very difficult to figure out. My animation teacher highly recommended TV Paint because I always animated traditionally, and boy, is it the best digital painting animation program I've ever touched. Caroline Corton, I'm very glad that you feel that way, because you know, everyone has different opinions, and this is something that I'm wanting to get across with videos like this, is that people like to compete like they would gaming consoles or sports teams as to which is objectively better, when this is a very, very subjective topic. Different workflows work for different things. Okay. This onion skin channel owner has a great sense of humor. When I behave in the same way, I become a weirdo. My country doesn't support sense of humor. Oh, that's unfortunate. Doesn't support sense of humor. Does that mean that there is, like, when it comes to laughter, there's a very particular status quo? And if you're not like that, then it's just very difficult to, like, you sort of just get weird looks from people instead. I've been among subcultures like that, as opposed to entire country cultures. But anyway, my country doesn't support sense of humor or animation. That's a shame that animation isn't really supported. And I have wondered about that, how there are certain demographics that you rarely see, or at least there's not as much representation of, and I wonder if there's something happening within their own culture or community that sort of, you know, subdues it. So maybe people who are interested in that topic sort of not necessarily have it beaten out of them, but rather discouraged to the point where just, I don't bother. Like, you know, they don't see their demographic represented, so I guess I guess my people just don't do that. Fortunately, it's starting to change for a lot of things in a lot of ways. I remember I went to a graduation screening about a year ago, and the head professor was saying that every year there's more women graduating, to the point now where apparently it's 2/3 female, which is wonderful. And you know, but I wonder why that's happening and why it's taken up until now for that to happen. I do wonder if it has been a similar thing in decades past. If there's, you know, less women animating, maybe people would look at it and be like, oh, well, I guess I can't. And I don't know, it can be very demotivating. But now that there is like a great foothold for women in this industry, and there's more people doing it, so maybe that in itself is just encouraging enough for, you know, more girls to say, yeah, screw it. This is a thing. Why not? Let's do it. And it's having a great impact in the industry at last. You know, I know it's always been a thing, but it's nice that it's, you know, even more so that ratio is shifting. My animation teacher highly recommended TV Paint because I always animated traditionally, and boy, it is the best dish. Oh, I've already read that comment. Oh, jeez, wake up. Damn. Yeah, I saw a video where someone painted a cool portrait in TV Paint. Oh, that's cool. I hope you don't mind if I shared this stream on Twitter. Of course. Can you imagine if anybody on YouTube was just like, no, I don't want any sort of extra, you know, attention. Or anyway, women are banned from animating for a long period due to sexism and old mentality. Actually banned? Is that a thing? I didn't know it was that intense. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you said it was discouraged, but actually banned. Because back in the old Disney era and stuff like that, maybe they were banned from, like, being key artists or so. Okay, they were left to background artists and correctionists. Yes, that's what I was thinking, because I remember seeing, like, documentaries and stuff where it had tons of women doing the shading and coloring. So you're saying, but they just straight out weren't allowed to do key animation or even in-betweening? Golly. I'm glad the world is changing. Got a way to go, but it's better than nothing, eh? Oops. Oh, okay. That wasn't the plan. Look how long it took me to paint a brick. Because reading and talking at the same time sucks. And if I do this every day, it's going to become an extremely repetitive stream as I rehash the same points over and over again about the things that I'm frustrated about with my own workflow. Okay, step off. No, it's not what I want. Stepping on. Stepping on with percentage of like, 60? Yeah, there we go. Okay, a little bit more. 70. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, getting there. 65. This is solid entertainment, isn't it? This is why we all come here. Okay. Rejection letters from Disney said they would not hire women for actual animation and story department. Wow. That blows my mind. I suppose it shouldn't, but it's sad, isn't it? How discouraging. What shifted that? How did they finally get a foot in the door? The war changed it because men were being enlisted, I think, if I remember the documentary correctly. So the only thing that started to shift it was simply men not being around anymore? Man, so freaking... so frustrating. What causes that? Just like a paranoia of, oh, if we give them a chance, maybe we'll lose our jobs. The only thing that's worth being paranoid in that kind of regard isn't gender or race or immigration. It's automation. Be worried about robots taking your jobs. Damn. And even then, don't necessarily just be angry about it and not try. Just be prepared and train up in jobs that don't exist yet. Why am I getting political? Screw that. Anyway. It's not just your country. Unless you try, you'll never know what people want. When you try, they'll react. Of course, not everyone will like it, but you'll definitely get some fans. You know, I guess it's difficult to disagree with that. I mean, it's still the same internet, and it is possible to obtain similar audiences, and you certainly got our support. Mohammed, do you do any animation yourself? Is there anything we can have a look at? Because if you are struggling to find any kind of support group, like, you know, that's what we're here for. After the war, sexism came back, encouraging women to go back to being homemakers. Oh, bummer. Yeah, I guess the entire 1950s movement. I mean, when people talk about, you know, the stereotypical housewife, they use the 1950s as an example, which was after the war. I am scared a robot will draw better than me and take my job. Well, I guess that's possible, but would people have been worried about you know, illustrators and, you know, people that do portraits would have had their jobs endangered when the camera was invented. Think about that. That's a thing that happened. That's like drawing being automated. If you're a photoreal artist, now the camera exists, but because like before then, that's why all the big galleries have just portraits of famous people for the time. You can get your photo taken, you get a portrait made. So it's not a new problem. You just got to figure out how to live with it. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all this different sorts of ways that animation gets automated, whether it be motion capture or, you know, now there's like VR motion capture and what else is there? Even what we're doing now, like just animating on a computer, the traditional artists would have been like, oh, well, motion swings. That automates things quite a lot. And, you know, I know often the time it makes it look bad, but that's the same thing with a lot of automated types. Just regular, straight out automated animating, like motion capture, looks garbage. So you need an actual animator to go in and sort of tweak it by hand and actually make it look decent. So our job isn't going to be going away completely, but I do believe it will continue to evolve, and we will be cooperating with and working around what machines are doing more and more. Do you like my bricks? Don't they just clash horribly? This is the worst, isn't it? But it is a brush, but rather than doing it in a clean line, it did start to make more sense to stamp it. So this time I'm going to try doing it using a paper texture instead. So for that, up here there's a switch called paper. Turn it on and now you get this sort of thing. Oh, what will happen if I used my brick brush for that with paper on? Cool. Okay, that sort of works. So with brick brush, I'm gonna do a couple of other experiments with it first. First of all, you'll notice that here in this it's not tool properties, but inside the toolbox, there is every single previous tool that I used. So if I don't actually have to save custom brushes necessarily, because different settings and things will get dropped in here. You can see different free transformations of the onion from yesterday here as well. But if I want to save it as natural brush and use it for later, here is the way to do it. These two down arrows. This one will save just the shape, and this one will save it with the colors locked, so I can't change it. So if I press this one here, the black and white one, it should be the standard brick, but I believe if I do this, it might shift the colors a bit. No, apparently not. I guess that probably only works if it's a grayscale based brush like that. Anyway, film filters will take our jobs is a very true concern. Just like the Polaroid camera industry completely thwarted by Instagram. Dude, can you read this comment so I can brag about being involved in this video and look super cool to my brother? Hey, Zultra, look how cool you are in this crazy YouTube video with a total of about 30 views. You're certainly top stuff. Okay, Mohammed, I have worked on Toon Boom for like 4 months now. I draw like crazy on it, but still have issues animating. You'll definitely get there. Animating is different, you know, kettle of fish to just drawing. Kettle of fish? Why is that a phrase? Fish in kettles? Do you boil them? That's not how they work. They're for boiling water. Anyway, animating is, you know, the fourth dimension. Drawing shapes and then drawing movement. It's a completely different skill set. But it comes with practice, just like anything else. You get there. Okay, New Game Expires. This is one of the things I love about TV Paint. You can paint your backgrounds with legit digital painting brushes and still have a unique background, character design, and animation style. Excellent thoughts. Film filters would take a job. Okay, in the movie The Shape of Water, it was the camera that made the artists who made a living on... Wait, hang on. It was the camera that made the artists who made a living on painting for almost for most media to go out of business because the camera was cheaper. It was the camera that made the artist who made a living on painting. Oh, okay. I see. So, wait, did they just use painted backdrops before then? The thing that's kind of confused me about that is that you're talking about a movie, which means the camera, like, very much already existed. Okay. And the movie emphasizes on the artist in that story. Okay. I guess I'll have to see it because I'm feeling a little lost. By the way, TV Paint made a full free Android app. That's interesting. I haven't heard about that at all. I'll have to give it a look-see, huh? Thanks for the info. Actually, I'm going to write it down in my list of things to do. Hey, you know that list of things to do that I wrote yesterday? I haven't done any of them yet. I'll get there, though. The days at work are intense right now because the film's due, like, immediately. And I was away over Christmas, so there's a lot to do. I should be doing this research on the train, but I've been playing Super Mario. I'm sorry. Okay, top notch. I brag to my brother all the time about commenting on videos. Does it work? Have you gotten like a decent collection yet? It's almost like an autograph book, but shoutouts on streams instead. It's like a modern way of doing it. Why not? Did you find any use for the official? Where are we at? Prepared to be excited and surprised. Okay, sorry, this is for people who watch this later. This set of emojis here, the eye, the mouth, and the eye, is my favorite combination of emojis, and I use it all the time, and it weirds people out, and I love it. But I would like to say with pride that I was never shown it. I just saw the pieces, and it's just like, these belong together. Okay. The movie was a historical piece set when the camera just came out and the artist in the story lost his job. Wait here. Movie historical piece set when the camera just came out and the artist in the story lost his job because of it. He did family portraits for magazines and advertisements. That's very interesting. Toon Boom is nuts. I hope TV Paint has got the same effects list. It does have effects. They're not quite as intense. I haven't explored them as much, so I can't say for sure. I doubt that it would be as intense as Toon Boom does, because that starts to rival After Effects. However, After Effects exists, so you're not really at a massive loss, but you can just export your animation and use After Effects. How long do you think a 1.5 hour frame-by-frame animation will take for one person to animate? Okay, that's a good question. A common consensus that I hear from independent animators that make their own thing and make something of quality. So this is assuming you're not making an 1.5 hour stick fight, which I'm going to assume. So if you want to make an actual half decent feature film, 1.5 hours long, brace yourself, because you won't like the answer. The consensus is usually about a month per minute. So 120 months. What's that divided by 12? 10 years! You'd think I would have known that without punching it into the calculator, but this is why I draw pictures for a living. 10 years if you're working on it full time, non-stop. Wow. I should probably tell Paul that, because that's what he's intending to do next. He's going to need some stuff. Because, yeah, Paul spent up to 4 years on 10 minutes. So, yeah, be balanced. Really think about what you can make. If it's a fully rig-based thing, if it's very simple and very slidey, and you can pump out 60 seconds in a week, you know, go from there. Now you're down to 2 years. still a long time, but you've cut a lot of time off. Where I'm working at the moment, each animator has a quota of about a bit over 30 seconds per week. But rig-based production, that's not frame by frame. If you're doing frame by frame, there's no way. No way. It's brutal. So sorry if that's burnt your enthusiasm, but I wouldn't want to give you some encouragement and then you land in hot water later. Oh, and now, Caroline, sorry, I've just looked at your username as well and realized that it was you saying it. Because I know you're a TV paint artist as well, so you're left without much choice. So you'd want to consider getting a team together or just focus on smaller things. If you want to do a full film, I think probably the healthiest course of action is to pitch it. Do a pilot. Do 30 seconds to a minute. Make a trailer. Make a key scene that will get people's attention, and then show it. See if you can't get some funding for that thing. Alright. You ignore my message. Oh, okay. Yes, I did receive your thing, Jackie Channel. That's very cool. But unfortunately, I don't think there is much I can do with it. Which is a shame. Because, of course, I'd love to. But I do have to respect where it has come from. But I'm very thankful that you were able to dig it up. I still have no idea how you were able to, but it was very cool to be able to sort of unpack, and I learned a lot from it, and as fun as it would be to pass on to everybody else. So sorry that I never got back to you on that, but your efforts are not in vain, and I think they'll come back in different sorts of ways, but not quite as direct as you probably hoped. And yeah, your other thoughts are fairly true as well. Sorry, I hope you understand. Onionskin, you have thought of making tutorials for drawing apps? Well, as in like Corel and stuff? Not really. This is an animation channel first and foremost. I'm not necessarily an illustrator per se. Yeah, I guess I don't really have too much more to add to that. You've seen how long it's taken me to get around to just 2 or 3 programs. The thing I'm not fond of in TV Paint is that when you apply effects, they are permanent. Yes, they become baked. I think that does have its place, though. Well, I call 3 years. I guessed 8 years, and then there you go. Yeah, I saw TV Paint app on the news on Cartoon Brew. I don't know about Note for Pen. Yeah, that was worth writing down as well. Alright. Work with friends, collab but cut time in half, but each friend that helps, you can make it a short. Yeah, definitely aim for a short, because if you try and rope friends in to work on a feature film that's, they're going to have to work on full time for several years, they may not be your friends by the end of it. That will cause some intense tension for a project you're doing for fun. And then the worst thing, can you imagine spending that long on something and then if you just uploaded it, what if no one saw it? That's very possible. Building an audience takes a long time. I've been at this for years and mine is still very humble. That'll just shred. So, I think pitching it officially is probably a bit safer, because then you get some good critique from broadcasters and producers on what's worth changing. And at least then they'd publish it to a place where people are more likely to see it if it does happen. And if it doesn't, hey, it'll hurt, but at least you didn't invest 10 years in something that no one's really going to care about. Okay, where are we at? The app might work for Samsung. So it's not on iPhones. But how will typical Apple filth like me be able to use it? Caroline says, thank you for your answer. Probably the most helpful one I've ever got. Ambition is crucial for artists. I was planning to get a couple more artists involved, but was wondering how it would be if it were only me. For the 10 years topic, this is why people should gather up in teams. Yes, I think I've showed on a stream before. I did a short once upon a time, and then was like, I'm going to do a sequel. But the sequel is 90 minutes long. Oh, no. I think it was 45 minutes long, so about half a film. And what I did instead was like, well, Jordan, this is not going to happen. I know. I'll build everything in 3D. So I did every set, every character, everything was rigged. All the 3D stuff was completely ready to go. And then I did one shot and was just like, I can't do this. This is too much. And then it just stopped, which was really sad. Because I got pretty deep into it. But even then, it was just far too ambitious. It needed to be, you know, maybe 5-minute episodes. Maybe that would have been plausible, and I could have gotten a little mini-series out. So now all those models just sit dormant forever. Oh, maybe I should have checked this existing first? Far out, I'm such a freaking moron. Alright, I'll try and make a new one anyway. Is there a way to make new ones of these though? All TV Paint animations, surely there is. I can't see a new button or an import button in order to get new textures in. Create new paper, okay. So I'm gonna turn the paper texture off. I'm gonna paint with my stupid bloody bricks again, just like that. And then select it, I guess. I'm completely guessing now. Do that and then go create new paper. Okay. Did that work? What is this? I think that worked. I think that worked. Oh wow, it's okay. That's interesting. That's news. I've learned stuff. All right, so you can probably see here up in this corner that the paper texture is. It takes a sample size of the entire canvas. So my brick texture was only in one small portion, therefore the actual paper texture itself only exists within one portion. So if I was to take some other brush like this one and make its thing real big, like, it will only paint in on that specific region. How very interesting. Alright, so I'm going to try a slightly larger version of that. And mix around with it a little bit before I go. But read a few more comments. Man, I really get wrapped up in talking, don't I? But there's always so much interesting stuff to talk about. What if an animator started at the age of 10 to 30? What would happen? Well, if that were to happen, then you would end up with a project that never gets finished, because you'd get a part of the way through the project and then you'd go back, look at how much you've improved and thought, well, the first 10 minutes of this film are garbage. I know, I'll go back and do it again. And then you find yourself that the rate that you improve at is equal to that at the rate that you are actually working on the film. And then it will just never become finished. It'll be like Duke Nukem Forever. Do you remember Duke Nukem Forever? That was a game that was in development for 12 years because every time it was starting to sort of get anywhere, a new engine came out and they're like, no. This game must be at the absolute pinnacle of, you know, where we're at. A new engine's out. Our game's now on the old engine, therefore we can't release it. Let's rework everything to work with the new engine. So it basically meant the game got restarted over and over and over again to the point where it was just this crazy amalgamation of 12 years worth of progress. And then it came out and it was, because they basically went bankrupt, and it was super just weird and clunky. So if you were to work on a single project over the course of, you know, 20 years from the ages of 10 to 30, embrace the improvement. Work on it completely chronologically. Scene 1, go forwards and watch the improvement in quality. I think that would be a very interesting project, to watch someone's personal development over the course of a single narrative. You can make it the story of a child growing. And it will be the actual style of a child through the style of an adult. If I've given anybody the idea to do that, please do that, because I'm not going to do that. Because I'm not 10. And even if I was, why would you do that? You're asking for so much pain. Okay, wow, I've been wanting TV Paint for quite a while, but I can't afford it. And by pure coincidence, I happened to purchase a Tab S3 2 days ago. So this news is phenomenal timing. Now, a tablet S3, how close is that to the price of TV Paint, though? Would you not have had a choice of which one to get? What kind of tablet do I use? At the moment, I'm using a Wacom 22 HD. They seem to be the tablet that has stood the test of time more than any other. They've been around for ages, and people are still getting them. They are quite aged by now. The resolution is quite, big. The bevels on the thing are huge. It's not portable at all. It's quite heavy. But it continues to be popular just because it's the appropriate balance. It's it's not completely unaffordable for what it is. But rather than making a new 22-inch tablet, Wacom keep making ones that are bigger in size. So now the answer to this particular model is the 27-inch tablet, and it is gigantic. It's so big to the point of, I think, just being unpractical. Yeah, so I'd love to see a rehash of this exact one, but no. The Wacom Studio Pro is probably my favorite in the line right now. Whenever I see one, I'm just like, oh, why can't I have you? Okay, they're working on some iOS app for TV Paint. I know I was disappointed too about it only being Android, because really would have liked to use it for iPad Pro. But iOS is on their next list. Did you get an iPad Pro? What's its pen like? Is it better than a Wacom pen? They do seem to be the closest answer to it. Like, they put a lot of work into that pen. Except for the way you charge it. That's like a bit of a meme. Oh, okay. Kakani is an animation software. It is very unique. Check the trailer on YouTube. I think I've used that one. Is that the one that has just absurd morphing? Oh wow, I'm really far back. Sorry, I'm gonna skip ahead. They haven't touched the app because my Samsung is too old for it. No. Can't you just use straight line tool for that set and step the right amount straight line of bricks? Yes. Yes, I could. I could have done that the entire time and done it in like 2 seconds. Oh my goodness. I'm so stupid. Thank you. Thank you. This is why I like having people watching while I do stuff, because boy, I have no words. Just glaze over the most obvious features, the most obvious techniques, for there to be someone standing over your shoulder going, why don't you just do it like that? Why don't I just do it like that? I'd like to justify myself by saying that I do this for other people as well, where I see them working in a particular way. It happened with one colleague recently. She sometimes watches videos as well, so hopefully she sees this. She'll definitely know I'm talking about it. Because I just didn't know about Cutter. And we're just walking past my computer one day and saw the Cutter tool in action, where sort of just, this is in Tomb Raider, just sort of swiping along and just the little, overlapping bits just disappearing. And our eyes just lit up, being like, what is this sorcery? I was like, dude, it's the Cutter tool. You've never seen the Cutter tool? I just got this look of just a bit of embarrassment. I was like, let me introduce you to the Cutter tool. Her life changed. I must have shaved days off her schedule. So this is me publicly saying you're welcome. But likewise, thank you for reminding me that the line tool with my stupid bricks will work. That's so frustrating. Okay. Back to the Windows panel. Sorry, back to Papers? Where is it? Where's the Papers panel gone? Is it... Where is it? It says it's showing up, but it's not there. See? Papers on. I hope I don't have to call it there simply because I've hit a roadblock and I don't know how to get the bloody window open again. That's going to be a thing, isn't it? Papers off. Papers on. Oh, it's embedded itself. Fair enough. Alright, create new paper. Will it just take a sample of what's on the stage right now? File already exists. Do I want to replace it? Damn right I do. Alright, cool. So there's the actual good paper texture, and here's my crappy homemade paper texture. And I believe it... Does it save the colors, or does it turn into a grayscale matte? I'm pretty sure it makes it grayscale. But let's get a painterly brush like this, turn the paper texture on, and go... Oh, I still got the line on. Alright, cool, look at that. I particularly like this with a brush like this because shifting is on, and shifting is on 100%, which means we don't just get a completely clean bricky texture. Notice it sort of like pushes and morphs it around, which is quite fun. So you could probably get like leaky graffiti textures, or even... I think it'll just give it a little bit more realism, because you know how cartoony and junk that sort of looked. So what if I sort of get this and just get a nice big brush and just kind of paint like that? Will it start to look a little bit more realistic? Probably not, because of the... I'm just sort of scribbling, but I believe there would be ways to kind of get a better feel of grunge here, because notice that it's taking the texture of the brush that I'm using and it's, you know, sort of patching it out rather than just being solid bricks. It's got depth to it now. That's quite nice, isn't it? I wonder if there is a particular brush here that will really show that off. I reckon just the harshness of the core of this one is probably what's throwing me off, so I should drop its opacity to maybe around 30, maybe bump its jitter up to 130. Should probably have a bit more smear as well. Let's double it to 10. What will we get there? Something a little bit more even, perhaps? Yes, but my paper's turned off. There we go. Ah, haha. That's what I want. So now the core of the brush is a little bit softer, so it's not quite as obvious, and we're kind of just getting a bit more of an even, grungy brick texture, and it looks kind of decent. That's not half bad. I guess I can emphasize points as well, and notice it sort of pushes the bricks around, so it sort of gives it imperfections, just breakages and things like that. I could probably change the color as well, going for something a little bit darker, and then, yes. I thought I might have to invert the texture in order to do that, but it does seem to be filling in the darker portions automatically somewhat. No, but it isn't filling in the actual gaps between the bricks. So if I go back to my papers panel and press invert, hopefully now these darker portions will mainly interact with the cracks, and it does. So this time I'll probably turn the opacity up a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't clash too much. Yeah, that's okay. I think that's okay. Probably preferred it as it was, to be honest. But it's working to a degree. Yo, what's cooking, says Watermelon Shy. Well, I got paper textures working. That's what's cooking. That's interesting, isn't it? That was worth watching a 50-minute stream for. Why are you people here? Okay. I do know that if I get a MacBook Pro and an iPad Pro, it can work as a Cintiq and Mirror Share, and then I can use Toon Boom on my iPad Pro. Yes, you can. And I would have assumed that's why you got the iPad to begin with, to use it as a second monitor. So why have you not got it set up to do that already? Because for that price, you could have gotten a Wacom Studio, which is a whole PC, and then you can run all the things. Now you've got to just jump real deep into the Apple ecosystem in order to do things. Both 10-hour battery life and super light. So, yeah, actually, the 10-hour battery life is pretty good. I guess I just say it from a point like I'm very much well within that Apple ecosystem, and trying to do anything outside of it is super frustrating. Anyway, I love Samurai Jack in the background painting video. Oh, okay, New Gaming Spice talking to Wimmery, yeah, it was good. Anyway, OpenTunes might rival Flash soon. Really? I better get back on it then. This is cool seeing people in the chat who know each other and are fans of each other's work. I love this audience. Everything is sort of integrated to a particular degree. A lot of people know each other and are familiar with each other's stuff, and I like the fact that a huge amount of people who watch are artists themselves, or aspiring to be, or at least interested in it to a certain degree. So we can all kind of talk on the same page rather than just being, me doing stuff and then audience watching. It does feel like we're all on an even playing field, talking back and forth. Only I get a voice and you all have to type. Ha! Take that. Okay, the only thing I have on my channel that's animated is a whip of an intro I'm making for myself. Excellent. Thank you, Not a Man Studios. I would like to see it. Send it tomorrow when I come back for the next stream, where I'm going to probably continue this research here and try and build more brushes from scratch. It was nice to experiment with the paper textures. I reckon it'll be good to do some of these foliage ones. And maybe try and replicate some real-life mediums. Like, see if we can't replicate charcoal, or... The manual mentions things like lipstick and junk like that, but we know how absurdly intricate it gets. So maybe making an entire custom palette, like a panel. This panel here, you see this here. This is just an example of different sorts of stuff you can make. So you can have a blank window and just fill it up with your own brushes. I want to do that. So I need to think of a particular theme to make a panel about. And I want your help with it. So have a bit of a think about what you think I should do. If you think of something throughout the day, tweet it at me. That's the best way to get at me throughout the day. And if not, just tell me tomorrow morning when we regather back here. So thank you for joining me again. I hope you are enjoying this experimental format of slightly shorter streams, but doing them much more regularly. I'm certainly enjoying getting to interact with you a lot. 2 days in a row. Isn't that amazing? Rather than one upload every 3 or 4 weeks. Good golly. Well, what an upturn in productivity. Hopefully I don't burn out your stream and you all get bored of hanging out. So thanks again. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. It's been great accountability because I actually woke up and I got out of bed and I feel somewhat awake now. We'll see. I'll probably get inside and immediately crash and then be late. But I also know that co-workers sometimes watch these streams as well, so they'll know what I've been up to, so there's no excuse. Okay, I'm rambling. Thank you.